So how does this work? There will be 3 sections to this learning lab. I'm going to cover a high-level concept about knowledge and knowledge bases first, and we'll talk about how this concept manifests in Guru. We'll go through what that looks like for one of our customers, and I'll give you some time to try this out in Guru yourself. Okay, so last week we covered good knowledge, and we ended up with downloading the Guru extension. If you didn't have a chance to download the extension, don't worry, we'll do that during this session. If you did, then what cards did you create with the extension? What knowledge did you add to your knowledge base? You can answer that and participate in this learning lab either by sending messages through in chat, where either myself or Eli will see them. Alternatively, using Zoom's question and answer function, which can be accessed at the panel below. Okay, just give you a minute or two to submit your answers. And the question is, what cards did you create with the extension? What knowledge did you add to your knowledge base? Thank you. All right. So some examples of adding knowledge to your extension could have been quick responses to emails or to chats, steps in a process that weren't documented before, even adding links to longer documents so Guru can help you access them and your team access them quicker. Okay. So a Guru cheat code. If you want to add knowledge in bulk from existing sources or in general, here's a reminder of your Guru cheat code. It's really helpful for bringing knowledge into Guru in a bulk way that keeps all your good knowledge together. So this can be a migration so that you move information from a different knowledge base into Guru itself, or if you need to keep that knowledge base and yet want the information reflected in Guru. So just a reminder of what we're about. The knowledge you need to do your job should find you where and when you need it. We've worked with hundreds of customers who have realized this pain point and have put knowledge as a center point of their team's success. Okay, so what does it mean to be in the know? Having your knowledge together is important, and having it follow the good guidelines that we covered last week is important as well. All of what we covered doesn't matter to your team if they don't use the knowledge they need. So being in the know equals being able to accomplish the right tasks, knowing what to say to customers, prospects, educating correctly on your product, and setting the right knowledge externally with confidence. If your team isn't confident in using your knowledge, your team's tasks and accomplishments could suffer. All right, remember Chad? Yep, that's Chad, one of our Guru advocates, or Chadvocates. Continuing the story today, as we'll focus on rolling out to the rest of the team, Chad needed to ensure his team has all the info and training they needed to perform. He had to wrangle knowledge from many different teams and different sources. So first, we're going to talk about how to add your team's knowledge directly into their pre-existing workflows and how that will help them accomplish their daily activities better and save time in doing so. So where your team is working can vary on a day-to-day basis. They could be spending time in certain apps or tools that are specific to their team, necessary to do their job and be measured on their success. They could be working internally via email with other team members or externally with prospects and customers. Alternatively, they could be using internal chat via Slack, Teams, and so on, speaking with other team members and looking for knowledge to bring to other sources. They could be doing this live, speaking on the phone with customers and prospects or on-site. So what you're looking at here is a little GIF displaying the Guru extension as an overlay to 3 main workflows: Salesforce, Zendesk, Gmail, where your team could benefit from knowledge in their workflow. The knowledge your team needs in each of these workflows can be very specific to the workflow, or they can be important in more than one workflow. Your team needs knowledge to know how to use certain tools or apps that are necessary for them to accomplish their daily activities. Your team needs knowledge to quickly access necessary info, to respond to emails, to answer questions internally for other members of your team to continue with their day, versus going out of their way to find an answer, and to provide a consistent experience, no matter where they are, on-site, on the phone, at events, and so on. So Guru provides you with multiple ways to supplement your team's workflows with knowledge that they will need. Extension, this is an overlay to any web page you're working on, an easy way to access Teams knowledge anywhere they might be working. Slack bots or Teams bots, bringing knowledge into the locations that your team chats internally. And an iOS app, knowledge on the go when you're away from your computer. Okay, so we've talked about the many different workflows that are important to your team. So now I'm curious, where is your team spending the majority of their day? So about to launch a multi-choice poll. So I don't want you to feel backed into an answer. Please do participate honestly and pick as many as are relevant. Launching the poll now, we'll give you about 2 minutes. I'm seeing a few answers rolling in. Thank you so much for your participation. Just another 30 seconds and then we're going to close the poll. Okay, thank you for your participation. I'm ending the poll. All right, so we're saying that email or CRM or internal chat seem to be the predominant answers. Great. Okay, so if your team works in all 4 places that we mentioned, different apps, tools, email, internal chat, live situations, then you're a lot like Chad's team. When Chad was rolling out Guru, he was focused on it being a singular location for all knowledge, but what he learned was that his team needed this knowledge in more than one location, more than one workflow. So with the Guru extension and the Guru app for Slack, Chad's team could get the knowledge they needed to do their job in any of their workflows, saving them time and energy, allowing them to better accomplish the things they needed to do daily. All right, it's go time. So during this period, I'd like you to download the Guru extension or add the Guru app to Slack. We'll give you a little bit of time to do this. And if you're with us for the last session, you already had a chance to download the extension, so I'd recommend focusing on the Slack app. If you haven't had the chance to download the extension, please start there. If you have additional time, certainly check out our Slack app instructions as well. Apologies for my noisy stool. As a reminder, you can always check out our Help Center for any instructions and guidance on how to set up, download the extension, set up the Slack bot, and any of our other features also have articles in there. Should you need further clarity, please do contact us through the chat with us option. You can find that in either the extension or the web app by clicking your profile picture. If you haven't set up a profile picture, it will show as your initials in the top right. Click that and you'll have that drop down option. Okay, just going to move to the following link, the following page, and show you the instructions for going through. Please take a little bit of time doing this, and we will resume shortly. Just a reminder of point 3, please do let us know what you chose to set up in the chat when you're done. Thank you. We'll just give you another 30 seconds to a minute. Okay then, I think that's sufficient time. Please do let us know in chat. I see we have a message. That was to me. Our attendee has done both. Thank you so much. Okay then, let's move on to the next slide. So, coaching your team with knowledge. Next, we're going to talk about how you can coach your team with knowledge in their workflow. We've talked about knowledge as the information your team needs to accomplish their daily tasks, everything they need to make sure they're productive during their day. With knowledge in your workflow, you have an exciting opportunity to coach your team with the right knowledge at the right time. This way, they won't have to worry about searching for the right information based off of the situation they're in. They can be coached by experts in a passive and effective way. Give your team coaching on the how-tos of an app, the next step in a process, and provide them with a new knowledge that they might not have seen before in instances when they can use it the most. So the Guru brings you that ability to contextually coach your team with knowledge when they might need it the most. Of course, with the Guru extension, your team can search for information when it comes to mind. But with 2 other features, you can bring the knowledge your team needs to them without having them search. Knowledge triggers. Surfacing knowledge based off of certain conditions, i.e. deal status, sales reps, ticket priority for support reps. AI suggests Guru bringing the knowledge you need to you based off the current chat, ticket, email with a customer or prospect. So we've talked about how Guru can help you coach your team. We haven't gone over how you currently coach your team. I'm going to launch a poll now, so please do again. Feel free to choose as many options, but also if we're missing something, tell us in the chat. Okay, I'm going to launch this now. We'll just have it up for another 2 minutes. And the poll is now live. Thank you. Okay, thank you for the answers. Pre-planned training sessions, okay. All right, I'm going to end the poll now, and we're going to move on. So, Chad again. If you spend a lot of time training in onboarding or don't currently have the bandwidth to build out a training program for your team, then that was what Chad was going through at the time. He was so focused on getting his team to the right resources, he didn't have the time to train his team on how to use the knowledge he was providing. Now with Guru, he had one central location for his team to reference for knowledge, but he also had a way to contextually coach his team with the right knowledge to use. This saved Chad time and energy and allowed him to focus on more strategic projects for his role, while ensuring that his sales team still had the right information. It allowed his sales team to not take time out of their days for unnecessary trainings and instead empowered them to learn and grow on their own. So, we're going to give you the opportunity to use Guru to coach by creating a knowledge trigger. Think of this as a tooltip that you can set up for any web page or app your team is using. So we're going to do Gmail today and use our use an example that I built out previously, and we'll see if this now works. All right, let's get on with it, and then we'll have time for you to create your own knowledge trigger. Okay, then I'm seeing a note that we have people who have set up a knowledge trigger. Could you please post in chat potentially if you're seeing that you're seeing more value in how to turn on AI suggest? Otherwise, we'll continue with the knowledge trigger. Okay. So moving over to, not a lot of real estate on the screen. Moving over to this, okay. Instead, we're going to set up a knowledge trigger. Apologies. Okay, so as you can see in the extension, you can set up knowledge triggers there. So clicking on that and clicking create new knowledge trigger, we're going to set this up. So as you can see, I've got a email pre-set up on the page. Creating a title. Trigger conditions, we want the domain, and always check this, it should auto detect it. However, Chrome can take a little while to catch up with if you've immediately changed tabs. So do always check that the domain is correct. So this is going to work on any Gmail account. Okay, so I'm going to say if exists anywhere on the screen, if implementation exists anywhere on the screen, then I want it to display a card. So we're going to go through. Okay, now let's set that up. Fantastic. Okay, so as you can see, now that we have opened up the response and we're getting the green Guru button here, opening that will open up the suggestions tab with a magic wand, and that is then scraping the page. It sees that implementation exists on here, and so it's pushing the card for an implementation one sheet. Now you're in a position where your rep can just open this up, see what is available here. It's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy a card link. We can also come here and copy the link to the file. Okay, wonderful. Sending that to myself for a little bit of more spam in my inbox. Okay then. So, please take a moment to click your avatar in the extension, click knowledge triggers, create new trigger, title your trigger. Now follow these steps. If Wi-Fi exists, for instance, assign a card to Surface. What's our Wi-Fi password would be our suggestion based off of the last session we did. Alternatively, you can set up a new one, whatever is appropriate for your team, so that they can immediately gain value out of you attending these learning labs. And then save your trigger. Please do let us know if you have any issues. I'm happy to walk you through it. All right, we'll give you 2 minutes to see if you can set up your own trigger again. Thank you. And if you already have set up triggers in the past, maybe just take this time to set up that trigger you've been thinking about. I do love when teams are going to see immediate value out of these learning labs. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay then. Finally, we're going to talk about monitoring your team's adoption and adoption of knowledge, and see the benefit that a unified, verified, and in your workflow knowledge base can provide for your team. So you might think it's hard to convince your team to adopt a new knowledge base. It's important to think about the benefits for every type of user in that knowledge base and how it will help them do their job better. For SMEs, they can focus their time on more strategic projects without losing time in their data, answering shoulder tap type questions. They'll see instant value from keeping their knowledge up to date and in one place that the rest of your team can access it. For end users, the more that reps, agents, and the rest of your team adopt knowledge, the more likely it is they'll increase their speed and efficiency of completing their daily activities. And they'll do so knowing that they can rely on the knowledge they just used to be trusted and verified. Overall, as your team adopts knowledge into their workflows, it'll provide your customers and prospects with a better, seamless external experience, as well as smoother internal processes and productivity. By adopting knowledge as part of your daily workflows, you'll find the added benefits later on of attributing knowledge to success, deals won, a decrease in time to response, happier customers, more project tackled. The list goes on. Transparency of knowledge across teams. As your knowledge base grows, your teams will have a better understanding of what knowledge is owned by what experts and departments. There'll be better communication and access to the information that is relevant across teams. Keeping in mind that you don't know what you don't know, the more you keep knowledge top of your mind in your daily workflows, the better you and the rest of your team will be in filling those information gaps that are important to your team. So we've talked about adopting knowledge and adopting a knowledge-based system like Guru, and we want to hear from you in the chat. How do you determine if a tool is well adopted by your team? Are there certain metrics, milestones that you're keeping in mind? For example, adoption percentage usually relayed by the tool, word of mouth, tracking frequency of use. Very interested to see any responses. Please do submit it via the Q&A function of Zoom or through the chat. Okay, so it seems that most of the teams I work with, in my experience, are using in-app analytics to monitor other tool adoptions, and it's good to hear that because we have analytics within Guru as well. Okay. So when Chad was rolling out Guru, it was obviously important for him to think about what good adoption would look like. When you think about how relevant and important knowledge is to everyday workflows, it's important to be able to attribute the use of knowledge to how your team is performing. Using Guru's analytics feature, Chad was able to easily track adoption of knowledge verified and up to date, knowledge in his team's workflow and how well his team was doing in keeping that stuff up to date, as well as what information each member of his team was looking for. Chad found that Guru's analytics were most helpful for reporting how his team was using knowledge in their day-to-day and continuing to prove that knowledge was integral to all of their daily workflows. It helped him rally more of his team to add knowledge into Guru, filling the gaps and giving greater transparency and access to the information that all teams needed to accomplish their daily tasks. It's also useful for other attendant features such as search terms that people maybe you didn't expect that they would need to look up all the time. This could then influence what retraining should be on the horizon and who could attend them. Okay, so you can't have team analytics without a team. Let's take some time to invite some of your colleagues now so they can see the hard work you put into Guru and into making knowledge a priority for your team. We want to give you a chance to familiarize yourself with our analytics right now. We also want to give you a chance to think about your team goal, how your team goals are for adoption. Is there a certain % adoption you want to see by a given week as you roll out? A monthly, quarterly basis to check in, perhaps. And also give a thought to who is your network of champions and that can help you with defining your adoption goals. Alternatively, maybe there are events coming up that you'd like to tie your adoption to, product launches, new processes, announcement segmentation, all of these sort of things. Okay, so we are going to add a user to our Guru community. So as you can see back in the Learning Lab team instance, I'm going to go to my picture, or alternatively it'll be your initials if you haven't yet uploaded a profile picture. Then we click on team settings, and here in members you can see the dashboard for users and collections. So we can add members here, and as you can see, you need to insert the email address and then separate each one by a comma. So this means you can mass add users, getting it a populated knowledge base very quickly. You can also add them to a group immediately. So I'm going to move to Sales Asset Experts. And I'm going to, who should I invite? I'm going to invite my colleague Yael. Okay, we click send, and there is Yael with his little unicorn emoji in his name. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to move it back and give you a moment to walk through and add a few members to your teams. I think this is fairly straightforward, and I'll remember to read out these instructions as you're doing it, so please do move to your instance and invite a few members to your team. Okay, so now that you've moved over to the web app or via the extension, you're going to go to your team settings by clicking on your profile or the initials, and then on your members tab, click invite members. Now add some of your teammates to Guru and be sure to assign them to a team. This prevents you from needing to do it after they're already in there and doing it one by one. I'll just give you 30 seconds to do that. All right then, now that you've added some members, we'll move on. Okay, so now that you've added those teammates, think about your plan for monitoring adoption. Make sure to follow through on this to important milestones. This will help you get a read on how your team is finding knowledge to be important in their daily workflows. You can check your team's adoption at those important milestones at the following link, also just by clicking the Analytics tab within the Guru web app. Okay, so we've added knowledge to your existing workflows and understanding where knowledge would be most helpful for your team. Extensions, Slack app, iOS app, Teams app indeed. Okay, so we're also coaching your team with knowledge using some of Guru's features, such as knowledge triggers or AI suggest. Monitoring your team's adoption of Guru and seeing the importance of knowledge in your team's daily activities via our analytics. Here are some resources for you that will help you along your entire Guru journey. The Help Center will help you with any setup or reference information you might need. If you need some extra help, please chat with us via the support email, support@getguru.com. And feel free to book some time with one of our live agents, CSMs, who can assist you in a consultative fashion. You can sign up for a consultation at this Calendly link. All right, any thoughts? Please reach out to us at this link. We'd be happy to hear from you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes just in case there are any follow-up questions after this Learning Labs. Feel free to send in questions via the chat or via the Q&A function. Alternatively, you can email us also at support@getguru.com. All right, thanks a lot for attending.